For 2 days we watched the wind batter our sight from the safety of the fire. The wind was a constant companion during the week, causing our portage-filled canoe route to become a week-long base camp on a beautiful lake chain in Canada near Sudbury. With the wind landlocking us during the day and chilly nights in the tent, we were questioning the wisdom of our decision to come in October. Our small group had started later than planned on the first day, and when we left the sheltered bay that the lodge was in, we were met with a strong north wind. The wind slowed progress so much that we elected to reverse the trip so that we didn't have to paddle the close to 6 miles to the site in 15+ mile-an-hour winds. As we prepared to launch, the caretaker of the lodge mentioned that the lake was being drawn down for the winter. This hit home as we paddled into the narrow channel to the next lake and realized that what we thought had been a small liftover was actually a short, technical rocky portage. We made our way through the first 2 portages and entered a small pond whose entire north bank was covered in downed trees jutting out into the water like the jagged teeth of some mythical beast. We made our way down the pond and came to a portage around a beaver dam, entering the lake just as the sun was beginning to set. We set up camp after some deliberation and a little fishing and then called it a night. The next day, while taking stock of our gear, I realized that I had forgotten my rain pants. Hoping they were in the truck, I made my way back down the portages and took a 2-track around the first to the lodge to search the truck. Luck was not on my side and I was quickly back on my way to the campsite. When I got back to the lake, I set my mind to fishing and got the 2 best fish of the trip with, of course, no cameras in sight. I also lost a muskie that would have easily been my personal best, watching helplessly as it went under my solo canoe, took a run, and then let go of my spinner bait in a flash. In the morning on day 3, we were greeted by the wind, watching helplessly from the shore as time slowly ticked away on our trip. Eventually we decided that we had lost too much time and that base camping would be our best option moving forward. Two days later, we woke to clear blue skies and quickly decided to take advantage of our good fortune to check out the lakes connected to and adjacent to our own. We were able to reach 3 new lakes, each with their own unique features clearly influenced by the local beaver population. After visiting the 3rd lake, I decided to pull out my camera and attempt to get some film for this video. I began casting the wigglewort around areas with a steady but not too steep drop-off, putting special focus on isolated pieces of cover I would find along the shore.
Hello, friend. Nice, pretty Canadian bass. Did me a favor there. Oh yeah. Are we getting out over there? Can I get out over there? Okay. Are we going to try to portage over that side then, or what? Is there a way over? He came back. Oh man. This little lake above where we're camping at. I'm not sure if it raises and lowers. It looks like it, but it is just full of smallmouth, and they are all starving. There must be a group of them just sitting right on that point there. The second one I pulled off, I got a picture of the other one. Pretty guy. I think there's a cabin up here, Dad.
I think this cabin was probably an old hunting cabin. It looked like nobody had been there in years. The roof had collapsed in on itself, and it was basically falling apart. While we were exploring this arm of the lake, my dad informed us that we were going to have to leave a day early due to some issues that he was having with the sale of my childhood home. We were saddened by the news, but we did what we could to make the best of the situation and enjoy the little time we had left in the solitude of the Canadian wilderness. Of course, I've always had a habit of somehow breaking the silence.
There's that pike over there, man. If he's got a jerkbait in his mouth, that's the one I had hooked. He'll hit that worm. Oh yeah, I've seen plenty of pike hit those things. Turned out to be a real nice day.
With temperatures rapidly dropping and sunset approaching, the fish seemed to lose interest in my crankbait. I switched to the Texas rig tube, and with a slower presentation down faster drop-offs, I was able to continue catching fish.
Doubleheader. Doubleheader. I know, I said I got one too. No, bass. Did we lose another one?
With the sun getting ever closer to the horizon and the moon showing in all her splendor in the evening twilight, I decided to spend the rest of my night fishing for the elusive muskie from earlier in the trip. I was able to get him to rise one more time before he vanished into the deep water below my boat, never to be heard from again.
Ow! You hit me!
Well, you know. You probably deserved it.
Look at the fire going, Mr. Bill!
Thanks. I said thank you. Now, Derek? Derek?
Waking the next morning, we reluctantly began to break camp. Leaving a place as beautiful as this is never easy, and none of us were in a hurry to go on our own separate ways. However, bolstered by cowboy coffee and the promises of a hearty breakfast, we loaded the canoes and said our goodbyes to the lake. The portage out was considerably more difficult with the continued drawdown for winter, but we persevered and were soon back in the water. As we paddled along the west shore of the last lake, we spoke of trips past, future plans, and getting the band back together. All common themes for any seasoned paddling team. Before we knew it, we had landed at the lodge, loaded the truck, and gotten on our way. As we drove down the bumpy dirt roads, I thought, what could be better than this?